Aquarius, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of April. So before I get started, this is most applicable to your rising sign, but it is also applicable to your sun and your moon sign. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself, and your moon sign is how you internally process everything through that emotional lens. And so kind of jumping into the major themes for the month, the overarching energy has a lot of Aries and there's a lot of Taurus. Pluto in Aquarius comes up pretty frequently as well because there are always barriers that need to come down. And so for you, the Aries and Taurus energy really does impact your third house and your fourth house. Your third house is communication. Your fourth house is home. Also within your third house is your siblings, short distance travel. That's probably not as significant unless it is related to your home. Probably more communication than anything else. And I say that because right away on April 1st, we have Mercury stationing retrograde. And so communication is definitely highlighted throughout this entire month. And it's communication, processing of information. That's what Mercury does. And of course, it would happen on April Fool's Day because why wouldn't it? So that's going to happen at 6:14 p.m. Eastern time. But we've actually been in the pre-shadow. So the pre-shadow started March 18th. Then it's retrograde until the 25th. Then it stations direct. And then there's a post-shadow until May 13th. And so this energy is going to be here for a while, pretty much the whole month, definitely from a retrograde standpoint. So Mercury, when it's retrograde, directs all that communication and processing inward. And so not a surprise here that we'll have Mercury conjunct Chiron in the sign of Aries. And so Aries is a very action-oriented. With Mercury being retrograde, those actions that you want to take are very internal at this point. Chiron is the wounded healer. And so this is bringing all of the wounds to the surface for you, but it's not even just bringing them to the surface. You're going to start internally processing what triggers you. What's the impact of these wounds? Maybe you never realized just how expansive these wounds were and how many areas they touched on in your life, or maybe what your overall responses are in general to this. This is definitely going to be a theme throughout the month of April. And for you, the wounds that are coming to the surface are sitting in your third house. So this is all about your communication. Again, could be short distance travel, siblings, but it really feels like more communication than anything else because there's so much that the way that we talk to people, what we share, what we don't share, that's all your communication. So this could indicate that maybe you're very shy and you don't want to be that shy, or maybe you're not the type of person who is open and vulnerable with other people, and there's this kind of need to fix that about yourself because that would be a wound coming to the surface. Maybe you were betrayed in the past, and maybe it's about understanding, well, you know what, not everybody's going to respond that way. Not everybody is going to judge me for whatever I've said in the past or the way that I've done things in the past. This could also indicate that, maybe on the flip side of it, that you speak without filter and you tend to kind of trying to find a really nice way of saying that you piss people off on a regular basis, but I don't know if I can say it in a really nice way. But there are people like that. They're just very abrasive, and that's not a bad thing. It's just who they are. And so this would be a communication style. And so understanding that maybe you do that because you don't want to let anybody in, because that's another way of not being open and available. It's a way of communicating on purpose to keep people at arm's length. And so this is the type of wound that would be coming to the surface. We'll also have Mercury square Pluto in Aquarius. And so Pluto in Aquarius is going to affect who you are. So this is your physical person. And so these wounds and your communication style have an impact on how other people see you. And so there is this kind of physical body impact to you that's also being highlighted here. This would require maybe some change to the way that you express yourself. So just kind of highlighting that there. And then on the 5th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Aries. So that's going to happen at midnight Eastern time. And we'll have Venus conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And so Venus in the sign of Aries, it's a very interesting combination. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the god of war. Mars likes to separate. Venus likes to bring things together. So this is not a happy combination between planet and sign. But Venus is all about what you value. It is a very practical, down-to-earth, kind of Mother Nature type of energy. And so that's the kind of action that is going to be kind of triggered in this Venus entering Aries. It's about taking whatever actions and maybe grounding them in reality or just putting like a nurturing type of spin on them because there is something here that you value. Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces is all about your goals, your dreams. I mean, it's really, I love that energy. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, so it's really that energy amplified. And so Neptune in Pisces impacts your house of personal finances. Then we have Venus in Aries. That's impacting that communication house again. And so when it comes to your finances, what is it that you want here? What kind of goals do you have set for yourself? What kind of financial security are you looking to achieve? And then what kind of communication do you want in order to be able to achieve that? Is that working with an outside advisor? Is this maybe talking to friends, family, or it's something here because this is some sort of action-oriented communication in order to go after your financial goals. Venus will also be sextile Pluto in Aquarius. And so sextile provides an opportunity for you to really kind of take that grounded action. So when it comes to the communication, there might be something here about yourself that needs to change. And this could be maybe not going out all the time or spending a lot of money on all of these things that you just don't need. And so this is kind of how all this energy blends together when Venus enters Aries. This is what's really being highlighted here. And then we have the solar eclipse, which is also the new moon in Aries. And so that happens on the 8th. Really interesting though, because the eclipse itself is at 2:17 p.m. Eastern time. The new moon is exact 4 minutes later at 2:21. And so there is a lot of energy happening during this eclipse. Eclipses are fated moments. These are destined events that need to take place. And this one specifically, you're going to feel. We're all going to feel it. It's just going to impact us all a little bit different. And the reason I say that is because we'll have the sun and the moon, they're at the same degree point in the sky. So they're both at 19 degrees of Aries, but so is Chiron. So these wounds that you started becoming aware of a week before, and maybe even now as I'm recording this at the end of March, you might already start to recognize some of the communication style wounds coming to the surface. But during this eclipse, it's going to be unmistakable. This is really highlighting what this wound is, how it impacts you emotionally, how it impacts you physically, where in your life is this impacting you, and maybe things that you've done, maybe created such an atmosphere around the way that you process things and the way that you handle things so that you're not triggered. These are all things that are going to start to come to the surface during this eclipse. We'll also have the moon conjunct Mercury. So it's not even just about this kind of understanding. This is a real deep internal processing, emotionally processing, mentally processing these wounds. And again, like kind of understanding holistically what that looks like for you. We'll also have Mercury square Pluto in Aquarius. And so then understanding how this wound really has impacted you physically, how people see you, because that is definitely coming up in this entire scenario. And then on the 19th, we'll have the sun enter Taurus. So that's going to happen at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And when it happens, we'll have the sun in Taurus conjunct Chiron in Aries. So Chiron in Aries, again, this is going to come up pretty much off and on throughout the entire month. And so that wound that's coming to the surface in this conjunction, this is a blending of energies. This Taurus energy is, it's harmony, it's balance, it's grounded, it's practical, it's what you value. And so when you think about like your communication style, you're trying to kind of blend it with what it is that you value, what it is that you want. How do you want people to see you? How do you want to see yourself? Because this is all kind of creating this energy. Because again, that wound is sitting in your house of communication. Taurus itself occupies your house of home, and so this could be something connected to your home life. Maybe this is an area where siblings are in the mix here, and maybe there's some sort of communication with your siblings that you need to adjust, because there is something about the way that you communicate and being able to ground it in your home environment, and maybe that's the starting point for you to be able to heal. Maybe that's the place where you're seeing that immediate impact, that you've set yourself up in such a way that nobody can really penetrate your home environment because you're not allowing yourself to be open and vulnerable. We'll also have the sun square Pluto in Aquarius. And again, so this is coming down to the changes that are necessary for you physically. This is a square, so this is going to be a challenge. This is not something that is just organically going to happen. This is something that you would have to put a lot of work in order to be able to change who you are, how people see you, in order to kind of ground yourself in your home life as it relates to this wound connected to your communication, maybe even siblings. Could even be short distance travel. Maybe there is something connected to your home and short distance travel that's also being highlighted here. It feels more like it's going to be communication because that is highlighted a lot during the month for you. And then on the 20th, we'll have Jupiter conjunct Uranus and Taurus. And so that's going to happen at 10:27 p.m. Eastern time. And so this is really more of that same type of energy. Jupiter is the most benefic planet. So everything it touches kind of turns to gold. And it is all about growth and expansion. It's also about seeing things clearly. That's what Jupiter does. It sees that big picture and understands all the interplay of everything underneath. Uranus is all about sudden change. And so both of those planets in a conjunction, so the energy's blended, in the sign of Taurus is about really what is it you want to grow and expand? What parts of you need to change so that you can grow and expand, that you can get what you value here? And when we look at that, that is coming down to your house of home. And so what in your home do you want to expand? Do you want to grow? Do you want to cultivate? In order to do that, something here needs to change. And so this is connected to that wound again. So you can kind of see how everything is connecting to each other throughout the entire month. And then on the 23rd, we'll have the full moon in Scorpio. So that's going to happen at 7:49 p.m. Eastern time. And so a full moon just means that the sun and the moon are opposing points in the sky. And here we've got the moon in Scorpio. So the moon is your emotions. Scorpio is transformation. So this is emotional transformation, but it's in a push-pull with what you value and what you're trying to ground down here. And so there's something about this energy where you can find that kind of happy medium between these two energies. And for you, the impact here is your 10th house of career and your 4th house of home. And so when you think about just how those two play together, you're working or you're not. And so that push-pull energy, what are you trying to do with your home life? How are you trying to ground yourself in your home? Maybe make some changes here in your home. And then what kind of emotional changes do you need to make connected to your job? And so is this something where they're just at odds with each other? Like you want this stable, grounded, happy home life, but you're not home to experience it. And then it would be, okay, emotionally, let me think about, is this the right career path for me? Is there some sort of modification that I need to make? What changes need to happen in order for me to have that home life that I want? Because this emotional change is connected to your career. So it is about seeing your career differently, experiencing your career differently. Then we'll have Mercury stationed direct in the sign of Aries. And so this is going to happen on the 25th at 8:54 in the morning Eastern time. And so we'll still be in the post shadow until May 13th, but now all of that inward communication, processing of information, now everything is going to be outward again, or it's going to be easier to have those conversations. And so Mercury will be conjunct Venus and Aries. And so again, sitting in your 3rd house, this is a lot of communication around the actions that you want to take in your communication style, removing any kind of blocks here. This is really just giving you this opportunity to really start talking about or communicating in some way the wounds that you have, everything that you're learning about yourself, maybe the changes that you want to make, just that path forward for yourself. And then on the 29th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 7:32 in the morning Eastern time. And so Venus is the ruler of Taurus. And so it's really more of that same energy. So we'll have Venus conjunct Sun in Taurus. So again, what is it that you want to ground in down here in reality for yourself? What is it that you value? What is it that you want? What kind of harmony are you looking for? And it's really about bringing things together. So when it comes to your home and your home life, what is it that you're trying to cultivate? What is it that you want here? Because this is what's being balanced, and this is what's trying to kind of come to the surface so that you can address it. We'll also have Venus conjunct Chiron, Chiron being in Aries. And so when it comes to your communication and your 4th house, what is it that you want here? Because the Venus and Taurus energy, again, amplifying just that benefic harmony, let's get everything together to, I don't know, make peace kind of energy in your home life as it relates to your communication style. Because that wound is coming to the surface, and this is giving you an opportunity to find another way to kind of ground it and to heal through it, and really understanding, well, this is what I want in my home life, and that's going to help me heal that communication. It's going to allow me to be more open to other people, be more vulnerable, or maybe speak with a little bit more tact, or whatever it is, whatever this wound is for you. We'll also have Venus and the Sun square Pluto and Aquarius. And so again, there is an impact here between what you want in your home life and the changes that you need to make to your physical person. Again, how other people see you, it's a square. So you would have to work through this. This is not like those changes that you need to make to yourself and how other people perceive you. They're not going to be instant. This is something that you're going to have to work towards. And then on the 30th at 11:33 in the morning, we'll have Mars enter Aries. And so Mars is the ruler of Aries. And what's going to happen here right away is Mars will be conjunct Neptune and Pisces. And so Neptune and Pisces, again, thinking about what are your goals? What are your dreams? What are you trying to achieve here? Sitting in your personal finances. So what kind of financial security do you want to create for yourself? Mars in Aries, what actions do you want to take? Sitting in your house of communication. So again, kind of circling back to that, I've got this dream from a personal finance standpoint, and this is the kind of communication that I need to have. And maybe by the end of the month, the communication is a little bit more clear because we do have that Mercury station direct, and it's maybe understanding that you can speak your mind, that you can have that direct communication and say exactly what it is that you want here and not be afraid of being judged or anything else, not having to self-censor. Mars will also be sextile both the moon and Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. So this is going to impact your first house. The sextile does create an opportunity. This is not going to be that obstacle or challenge type of energy, but this is something that you're going to have to take action on if you want to do it. So all of these actions, this direct action that you want to take as it relates to your communication is giving you an opportunity to understand and make some changes to yourself. And so it's about seeing yourself differently, feeling a different way about yourself and the way that people perceive you. And so all of these actions, I mean, this is about bringing everything into alignment for you so that your internal and your outward self reflect the same person. We'll also have Mars sextile Jupiter in Taurus. And so again, sextile, so it's an opportunity. Jupiter, it's all about expansion and growth. And with Taurus, it's about what you value, what you want here. What are you trying to bring into some sort of harmony? And so when we're talking about this Mars and Aries energy sitting in your house of communication or short distance travel or siblings, and then we've got this Jupiter, this expansion energy when it comes to your house. Now it's about having maybe honest and real conversations about what it is that you want. How do you feel about a situation? Not being afraid to speak your mind. And that what that's doing is it's creating a more harmonious home life for you. It's creating this life that you want. This, maybe it's giving you an opportunity to grow your family in the way that you have a more like a deeper emotional connection with everybody. So Aquarius, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.